Good morning, you guys. I am reporting live from Lincoln Cemetery. We are here at Old Historic Lincoln Cemetery. Let me switch the camera. I absolutely love this cemetery. Lincoln is right here on 123rd and Pulaski. It is now owned, unfortunately, by I don't want to say unfortunately, but it is now owned by Dignity Memorial. But I am here at Lincoln, and it is Black History Month. So I want to show you all a little bit of Black history. Now, Lincoln was built in 1911, and it was specifically here for the burying of blacks. Unfortunately, Black people were segregated even in death. So there were not many places for Black people to be buried before the installment of Lincoln. They were either buried in what do you call them? Segregated community, Potter's Field plots, the segregated sections of the back end of the cemetery, and Mount Glenwood Memorial Park, I think, was one of the first cemeteries that allowed for desegregation in the cemetery. So that is why a lot of people were actually were buried in Mount Glenwood as well. But I am here at Lincoln because I wanted to show you all a few famous graves of Black Chicagoans that made an impact on Chicago history, right? So when you come into Lincoln, you're going to pass by what used to be the old office. The new office is now over across the street in Beverly, because Dignity Memorial now owns Beverly, Oak Hill, and Lincoln cemeteries, but this is the old historic part of the cemetery. There are a lot of graves over there where you possibly can't see around my car. Let's not pay attention to my car after the deer hit it, but that's neither here nor there. Those are a lot of prominent doctors, believe it or not. A lot of prominent Black doctors in Bronzeville are actually buried right over here, like Dr. Albert Wilberforce Williams. You also have Dr. Floyd Willis over there. There are actually quite a few doctors over there. But I wanted to start off with a couple of graves over here. Here is, when you first walk in, the grave of Frank C. Leland. So if you are familiar with the Negro Baseball League, Frank C. Leland actually had a baseball team called the Leland Giants that actually, RUBE Foster, who was the father of Black baseball, who is also buried back there. He was started off on Leland's team in, I want to say, 1907. They actually had a really good record, the Leland Giants. So make sure that you all look up the Leland Giants and Frank C. Leland and his legacy. Another person buried over here is Robert SENGSTACKE Abbott. You know that Robert SENGSTACKE Abbott was the creator of the Chicago Defender. And to be honest with you, if you are up here in the North, you probably are up here because of this man. I don't want to say single-handedly, because there were a lot of people that were instrumental in making the Chicago Defender a very important Black publication. But him and the Pullman Porters, single-handedly, honestly, I don't want to say single-handedly, but a group effort, they were completely awesome. The Pullman Porters helped spread the Chicago Defender to the South, and because of Robert S. Abbott, honestly, his Chicago Defender magazine newspaper was very instrumental in helping people migrate to the North. He made sure to brag about the advances that Black people were making in the North, and even set a day for the Great Migration. So a lot of Black people honestly came up here because of Robert SENGSTACKE Abbott and the Chicago Defender. Also, if you are a fan of the Bud Billiken Parade, he is the creator of the Bud Billiken Parade. Here is another grave. I'm going to turn it sideways so you all can kind of see it. I'm going to turn it back this way. Vivian G. Harsh. If you are familiar with the Vivian G. Harsh collection, believe it or not, the Vivian G. Harsh collection is the largest collection of African American literature in the Midwest right now. Vivian G. Harsh was the first Black librarian here in Chicago for Chicago Public Library. I'm sorry, it is so cold out here, you guys. It's so cold. So I am trying my best to talk to you all about these people, but it's also really cold outside. So Vivian G. Harsh, she actually used her own money. Believe it or not, she used her own money in order to fund some of the books, the Black books that are in the Vivian G. Harsh collection. So if you are at Carter G. Woodson Library on 95th and Halsted, please make sure that you check it out. We have another famous grave right here, Reverend Lacey Kirk Williams. I forgot what church he was over. I have to actually look at it. He presided over the funeral of somebody else who was famous. I will definitely go back and look and insert that as well. Then we also have Joe Lewis's trainer, Charles Harvey Blackburn, sitting right here next to Robert A. Cole Sr. I was actually looking for this grave for the longest and did not even realize that it was here. If you have ever heard of the Metropolitan Funeral System, Metropolitan Insurance Company, and even the Parkway Garden building that holds Bronzeville's, that also held the Chicago Defender, that was also the home of the Metropolitan Funeral Association, where they had a funeral home. We also have, look at this, Anthony Overton Jr. Anthony Overton was honestly like one of the richest men of his day. He had a huge conglomerate. He had Douglas National Bank, Supreme Victory Life Insurance Company. He also had the Overton Hygienic Cosmetics Company that was incredibly, I want to say, successful, especially internationally. His like brown powder for brown skinned people was the top seller internationally. So he was all about sustaining the Black dollar and recirculating the Black dollar. And he was also the winner of the Spring Iron Medal by the NAACP for his business acumen. Here is another person. I mean, there are so many people buried here, y'all. You would be surprised, right? And I'm skipping over people. Here's RUBE Foster. Remember, we were talking about Andrew RUBE Foster, the father of Black baseball. And I'm not trying to skip over anybody or anything like that, but there are definitely quite a few people buried out here. And I'm just taking a quick little walk. Look, we've just walked from the front, and look how many people we have covered so far. Also, I have not covered, they have Noble Drew Ali reincarnated. His name was David Ali L, who was I guess he was the reincarnation, self-proclaimed reincarnation of Noble Drew Ali. If you know, we have already talked about Noble Drew Ali. He is buried over at Burr Oak. But here is the last person that I wanted to talk about, because we have not talked about this person at all, and I wanted to make sure that I showed you her grave. Look at this beautiful, 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 beautiful grave. Beautiful grave, you guys, of Gwendolyn Brooks. Do you know that when she won her Pulitzer Prize money, she actually funded children's poetry contests here in Chicago, and actually with her money, and handed out the money? I think that's absolutely awesome. She won the Pulitzer Prize in 1950. A lot of her works, honestly, were about Black life. Black life here in Chicago. Another person over here is Senator Adelbert, sorry you guys, Roberts, who was the first Black man in the Illinois State Senate. Look at that. All right. So I am freezing. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I am freezing. Also, this is the main section that you all are seeing right here is TLA, right? So in TLA, there are a lot of people buried over here. We also have not Eugene Ammons, but Albert Ammons, and also Jimmy Yancey. Both of them were jazz, blues, vaudeville performers. They're also buried over there on the other side. Maybe another day we will also take a walk on the other side, and I can introduce you all to all of the doctors that help Black life and increase the Black population. Because let me tell you, before the sewage system, they raised the streets and the sewage system, it was real rough. It was real rough for people in general. You understand me? People in general. So we are still out here documenting all of these graves, all of these Black lives. I am literally out here almost every day going stone to stone, documenting who is buried here, and also creating a famous grave map with pictures. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. It is really cold out here, you guys, so I apologize. It is very, very cold. I think we'll finish off with one last grave. We have one last grave over here, which is the grave of William Big Bill Broonzy. But honestly, I also want to have, here we go, William Big Bill Broonzy, who is in the Blues Hall of Fame. So I also want to have a conversation, honestly, about perpetual care, right? Perpetual care, unfortunately, does not exist out south. It's supposed to, but as you see, it does not. I want to start a burial society where we honestly bring some pride back to the Southside, right? There are so many graves out here of some famous people. There's Sethard P. Dunn, who was also a pastor. There's so many pastors. Bishop William Doc Walls. There's so many pastors over here, as well as on the other side. We are out here documenting graves every day. As you see, it is extremely cold, and also a lot of these graves are unmarked or do not have headstones. So hopefully I am trying to get some people interested in starting maybe a restoration project. Maybe we can take care of some of these graves, restore some of them that have been knocked over, unleveled. It's just looking real rough out here. I'm not going to lie to you. And there's so much history that's out here. Oh, there's one last person that I want to talk about that is buried right inside of here, inside of the mausoleum, the oldest mausoleum, I guess, that's out here, is Reverend A.R. Leak Sr. You all know Leak and Sons, especially this week, since they will be taking care of, oh no, somebody lost their card out here. Oh well. It's not a debit card, so it's totally fine. But definitely, I want to do something as far as, we have to do something as far as some type of perpetual care, people. We have to start talking about some perpetual care. And I'm being so serious about it. We have to start talking about some type of perpetual care so that we just have a little bit more pride. Okay? Let's just have a little bit more pride in the people that are buried out here, especially the older people. There was one last grave that I wanted to find, and I know it's over here somewhere, and I just honestly just saw it the other day. Let me find it really quickly, you guys, because it is cold and I am cold, and I don't know how much longer I am going to be out here, because I just can't. I physically, I'm not even trying to be funny about it. My little hands are frozen and I just can't. It was of a baseball person, and now I'm trying to find it. And I know that the grave it's like closer to here. Let me see if I can find it, you guys, because I just found it the other day. A lot of people and organizations, also not-for-profit organizations, have been making honestly great headway locating some of these graves, especially like they have a Negro baseball project where they are trying to make graves out of all of, here we go, William Henry Francis, Billy. And he was definitely in the American Giants, and I think maybe the LELAND Giants as well. But I definitely think, I'm sorry, I didn't even give you all like a really great look at that grave. It was actually really nice. I'm not going to lie to you. Let's turn it around. See, look at that. Okay. So I'm headed back to my car, you guys. I apologize. It really is cold out here. I'm not going to lie to you. There are still a few more graves that I am asking the office to locate. Hopefully we get some stories about those there, and maybe you all can help me as well. I am looking for 2 graves. There is a story that I would like to do, but unfortunately I haven't been able to find these graves. Message me. Send me a message if you live in the Chicagoland area and maybe you all want to help out. I am almost done with my map. Matter of fact, go ahead and drop a "we want the map. We want the map. We want the map." Definitely drop a "we want the map." I actually saw a family out here riding around, and they actually checked out Bessie Coleman's grave. And I saw them and I was like, hey, let me show you my map. And I was super excited about that. But look at all of these. All of these people are pastors. We have Addie Burns Jackson. We have Moses Jackson. They were founder and pastor of Grace Presbyterian. Here we go. Dr. A. Wilberforce Williams and his whole family out here. They are all part of the same family. We have a few people out here. Dr. Floyd Williams. A lot of these people worked at, and then also we have a John W. Simpson, who was a cop. And he was the cop that was murdered, the black police officer that was murdered during the 1919 Chicago race riots. Eugene Williams was the first boy who was 17, only 17, murdered and kicked off the Chicago 1919 race riots. He is buried over by the garage. But if you are interested in maybe some perpetual care or something, and planting some flowers or something, so we can bring some pride back to the Southside, y'all, let me know. We have so many more graves to go over. I just literally went over about 10 and just gave you a brief overview of the people that are buried here. Bessie Coleman is also here. There are so many people here. Perry Parker had a big statue back in the back. Perry Parker was the founder of the Pullman Porters Brotherhood Benevolent Association. So if the people were like on their deathbed or they were dying or anything like that, Perry Parker was the one that sat up there, and his organization helped those Pullman Porter families. There are so many Black Chicagoans that are buried out here, and I want us to bring some pride back to the Southside. So I am creating a famous grave map of everyday Chicagoans that made a difference in the community back then. And even now, if you want to submit a story, or if you know a story about a person, please let me know. If you know any stories about people that are buried out here at Lincoln Cemetery, please let me know. I have about 89 graves on my list. I'm trying to put up the website as fast as I possibly can. Look, I can see Perry Parker's memorial from all the way back here. You see that big tall one right there? I know that's really, you see that? That is a totally different section. That is Perry Parker's memorial. Awesome, right? Awesome. Let's learn some history, you guys. There's also lots of history across the street. Like I said, Lillian Hardin Armstrong is buried over there. We have Howard Brookins from the Brookins Funeral Home people over there. We also have, who else? Rayner. Rayner is over there, senior and junior. There are a few people. Dr. Marvin Yancey Jr., who was, what do you call it? The ex-husband of Natalie Cole. I'm also trying to find the grave of Nat King Cole. His mother and brothers are buried out here as well. So we are bringing some pride back to the South Side, creating some pro-blackity black history tours in Lincoln Cemetery, you guys, especially when the weather warms up, because now my fingers are completely frozen. I just gotta go, you guys. I gotta go. My fingers are frozen. So I hope that you all enjoyed this, and I will see you next time. Bye.